Hey guys, it's Mrs. Simpson with SMS PLS, and I'm going to be talking you through another craft today. So today, you're going to be taking some common household objects and making a wind chime. And you know, when I was little, my grandfather used to make wind chimes all the time. And this is one of the first ones he actually showed me how to make. So you can see when I hold it up, that I've got some chopsticks on the top and some embroidery floss and then these washers that you can get at the hardware store. And when you hang them up, I want to see if I can get it to make some sounds for you. Do you hear that tinkling noise? It's really soothing and relaxing. So I'm going to show you how to make one, and it doesn't take very long. So let me set aside this example and let's go ahead and make sure we have all our supplies. You're going to need a pair of scissors, good sharp ones. You're going to need 1 or 2 chopsticks. Either way works. I kind of like the 2 that are still stuck together because it's a little more stable. You're going to need some embroidery floss, string, or yarn. Any of those are going to work fine, but I'm going to use this. I'm going to need 5 washers. I'm trying to get them out of my bag right now. Here we go. So 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see them escaping. This is optional. You can have some beads. Now on the one that I showed you, this one, you can see that I didn't have any beads, but I'm going to show you how to do one with or without. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. So if you have chopsticks and a wrapper, you're going to have to take the wrapper off. If you just have 1 chopstick, that's fine. I'm going to do this with 2. And I'm kind of going to use them like a ruler and use them as a measuring guide. So I'm going to open up my embroidery floss, take these pieces of paper off and throw them away, find the end, and I'm going to be cutting some pieces of string. And I'm going to be cutting 6 pieces of string altogether, and each piece should be as long as the chopsticks are 2 times. So there's like 1 chopstick length, don't cut it yet, move it over, 2 chopstick lengths. And now I'm going to cut that first piece of string. And so you can see it's pretty long. It's actually as long as 2 chopsticks laid to end to end. So next, I'm going to go ahead and cut some more yarn just to the same length. And I'm going to try to keep them pretty close to the same. I'm going to cut 6 altogether. So here's my second piece. Okay, now I have my 6 pieces all cut to the same length. And this is where you can do things a couple of different ways. I've got to attach these pieces of string to the chopsticks, and I can do it a couple of different ways. So the first way is to take 1 piece of string, and I'm going to set the others aside over here. And I'm going to fold it exactly in half. And I'm going to make sure my ends line up because I want to keep it pretty consistent. And now I'm not even going to have to really tie or glue or do anything like that. I am going to take my string and kind of make a loop. And you can see that the ends are lined up down at the other end. I'm going to lay my chopsticks on top of it. Next, I'm going to take the ends of the thread. See how I have 2 ends here? And I'm going to go up and I'm going to lift up this loop and I'm going to feed it through. And when I do that, you can see I now have a piece of string hanging off of my chopsticks. Let me just show you how to do this one more time in case you didn't want to do it this way, but I'll show you another way too. So I'm going to take my piece of string, I'm going to fold it in half and make sure the 2 ends that are cut are lined up. I'm going to lay it like this so I kind of have a loop open at the end. I'm going to lay my chopsticks on top of it. I'm going to take the 2 cut ends. I'm going to bring them up, push them through the hole, and then pull them through the hole tight, and I've got string looped around. Now, if you're looking at this going, that's too complicated, You know what else you can do? You can just tie a knot. I'm going to take my piece of string and I'm just going to lift up my chopstick and I'm just going to tie a knot. Make sure you get it nice and tight. And you know, you want to leave a tail hanging down. So you can see, like, there's my tail. Works just as well. Now, I kind of like the way where you feed it over. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 more. So I'll have 5 pieces of string on my chopstick when I'm done. So, okay, let me go ahead and finish these next 3. Okay, I've got my 5 pieces of string wrapped around my chopsticks nice and tight. And you can see that it looks like this. And there's bits of string hanging down. Now this is where if I decide I want to add some beads for embellishment, I can. Now I don't have to add beads if I don't want to. Remember my original example didn't have any and it looks and sounds just fine. But for this one, I'm going to show you what it might look like if you add some beads before you tie the washers on. So I made sure I picked beads that had a big enough hole in them that I thought the 2 pieces of embroidery floss would fit. So you can see there's 2 pieces of string kind of hanging here together. I'm going to take the ends because both pieces have to go through the bead. And I'm going to push them through. And I may need to get them just a little bit wet. I licked it, it's true. I did. You can take a piece of water though. And you know what, if it's not going smoothly and doesn't want to go through, sometimes there's stuff on the inside of wooden beads that catches. Let's see if it goes a little bit better with a plastic bead. I'll bet it does. You know, I kind of wanted to use the wooden ones, but I don't think it worked out. Oh yeah, that one slid right on. Look how nice that went. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of make a pattern, I think. I may not make them all the same. I think, so see, I haven't tied anything yet. I'm going to put this one on here. My ends aren't perfectly even, but I'm going to string them on. And I'm going to actually push them up pretty far so they don't go flying off when I try to do the next step of my project. I think I'll do this one next. This one's pretty nice. Pushing it way up because I know I still have another step here and I don't want to lose it. I'm going to put this one on next. Just feeding it through. I might give those wooden beads another try. You know, I mean, I really like them. I really want to use them if I can. So, you know, I'm going to try it one more time. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. Come on, wooden bead. Don't let me down. Oh, look, it's going this time, I think. So if you're having trouble, you can just pick a different bead or not do beads at all. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I think the wooden ones are just not wanting to cooperate. So I think I'm just going to stick with what I've got. I'm going to push these extras out of the side. You may not use them all. And now I'm going to actually attach the washers. And this is the part that's going to make the wind chime sound. So I'm just going to take that washer and see how there's a hole in the middle? I'm going to feed the string through. And I'm not going to tie it up too far. Like I'm not going to go all the way up here. I'm going to take it. And I'm going to tie a nice firm knot around my wind chime to keep that in place. And then once I'm done, see I've got a tail hanging off. Now if you think the tail looks cool, you could probably leave it. But I don't. I kind of want mine off of there. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to snip it off fairly close to the knot. And now I can move my bead down and it's like sitting on top of the washer. I kind of like the way that looks. Let me show you one more. Oh, I just realized this one doesn't have a bead on it. Well, let's stick this bead on there. There we go. Now they've all got one. I'm going to take my washer. I'm going to feed the string through. I'm not going to tie it up too high, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to tie it in a knot, nice and firm. Once I've really got it, I've pulled it tight. I don't like the tail, I'm going to snip it off. And I've got 2 done. All right, so go ahead and you keep working on yours, and I'm going to finish up these last 3. Okay, so now you can see that it's kind of already looking like a wind chime. You can't see the top very well. There's the top. There they are hanging down. And you know, they're just kind of slid on there. I can move these at the top closer together or further apart. But you probably are wondering, well, gosh, how am I going to hang this thing up? Well, you should have one more piece of string that you've already cut. Now this time, now you can do this one of two ways. You can either tie a knot or you can loop it like I did before. I'm going to do the looping approach. So what I have to do this time though, is I have to take my string and fold it in half, and see this end that's open? I have to cut a couple of good knots in there, because otherwise I can't hang things up. If you don't have the loop closed, you can't hang it up. So I'm actually going to do a nice strong double knot, just like that. And I don't like the tail, so I'm going to cut off that extra bit that I don't need. And now I'm ready to loop this onto my wind chime. I'm going to do just like I did before. I'm going to take it up here, and I have to go towards the middle. See how there's 5 altogether? There's one in the center. I'm going to line this up real close to that one in the middle. I'm going to take and I'm going to loop my string through, and now I am done. I have a finished wind chime that's looking terrific, ready to hang up and share with a friend. All right, hopefully yours comes out awesome too, and I will see you soon.